Eden Koz here with Just Be, and we are about to take a spiritual boom. We are at an unprecedented time in human history where we are transitioning from 3D to 5D within the great spiritual awakening. This video and audio podcast is the place for you to find your truth beyond politics, your sovereignty, your voice. Let's kick up your vibration now. By the way, each episode ends with the Just Be practice to do just that. P.S. Just to know a little bit more about me, I'm a psychological empath, meditation master, dimensional healer, all the things to help you within this ascension. To learn more about me, visit me at edenjustbe.com. And let's get this party started. Smile, would you? Like this. Ooh, Harry. Okay, let me do some calmer ones because there's so many that are so exciting. It's like over the top, a little too much. Yes. There we go. Okay. Do you think we got something good? Do you think so?
I guess so, yes.
All right. Well, we're just seeing about that. All right. And then, whoo, little energy zinging through my bod. Okay, Carrie, can you tell I have so much fun, whether you're here or not. I
That's
just
good.
have fun.
That's the way to be.
Thank you. Okay. Eden with Just Be Spiritual Boom in association with the Grassroots Warrior Network. Well, hello, Harry Kroner. How are you?
Very well. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Good. And welcome from Arizona. How is it out there today?
It's kind of cool, actually. I'm actually up in the mountains, so I'm a little cooler than the usual Phoenix and stuff.
Okay. It is. I'm in Ohio. It is one of these Ohio days that you hear about as dark and cloudy and just, Is it
No, I
sunny
moved here
there?
for the sunshine. Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm not from here, but this is where I am right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Today with Harry, I expressed to him that I really want to get into the human experience. This great awakening is massively unfolding, and our podcast will be released the second week in January of 2024. So I know there are many people being affected by it on a different scale, and I want to go ahead and put this out there because I do want to talk about taking care of the physical body. I saw a video that you did, which was perfect for me. So I want to share it with you guys as well as Harry's knowledge on that. And I want to, at least at this point, talk about how this is affecting you personally as well as what you see through your work. Okay, so I told Harry I'm going to have him sit tight for a second. I'm going to three things I want to talk about and then read Harry's full bio. Okay, so Howard Richman was on the show 3 weeks ago, and he sent me this email, and this is not about tooting my own horn, but this shit's really good. Okay, and I want to tell you what Howard said. I loved it. He wrote to me, "Oh my God," all in capital letters. "I watched the whole thing. This interview is just spectacular. I'm proud of what I said, and you are also a master at helping people to feel comfortable and open up. I can see that that's one of your gifts." Okay, beautiful, wonderful, thank you. But these shows are, I think, really good. And the guests that come on, like Harry, it's just interesting how they all just come to be here. And I put it out that what is discussed is what everybody's ready for. The guests that come to me, it's just perfect. So Howard, thank you so much for that. Love it. Okay. And the one thing I've also been asking you guys is to work on spending cash 1 to 3 times a week. And I always like to say what I did just to keep myself accountable. So my massage therapist, paid him in cash. Shout out Thomas. Whoop, whoop. He's so awesome. And I did a coin company this week with cash too. Finally, my third thing, Harry, is I want to announce my class that I have coming up. So I'm titling it Galactic Human Ascension Meditation, which will be Saturday. I'm looking at my notes, Saturday, January 27th, 2024 from 1 to 2:30 Eastern time via Zoom. So just to give you guys a little hint of what it will be like, there will be several meditations, probably 2 or 3. And each one, I already know this, the presence of ascended beings, galactical beings will be there to help guide. And if I'm called to work with people individually, I will do that. So there'll probably be some light language in there, dimensional energy for sure, and maybe some toning. Just be open, be ready. I'm open, ready. Price $45. And to register, email me at Eden, EDEN, at EdenJustBe.com to sign up, and we'll go from there. Oh, very excited. And I've never done anything quite like this before. So come be with me while I do it, while we do it.
Exciting.
Oh, thanks. Oh, that leads me to another question. Okay, let me tell you guys about Harry. Harry, I love this word, is a catalyst of spiritual awakening. And I'm going to read it with some drama, like y'all know I like to do. Deep healing, empowerment, and consciousness expansion. Can I just do a right there? He is an author. How many books have you written?
Just two.
Just two.
Yeah.
I'm in the middle of my first.
Oh,
Not in the
good.
middle, like more towards the end. It is a task.
Absolutely.
So
It's
you
something you
have,
have to dedicate yourself to.
yes, and you have done two. Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, so author, healer, and founder of Infinite Ascension Academy. With a master's in psychology and over 20 years of experience, he specializes in spiritual hypnotherapy, past life regression, soul coaching, galactic expansion, and healing, energy healing, quantum healing, hypnosis technique, and beyond quantum healing. He developed the modality quantum healing methods and certifies practitioners in it through his Infinite Ascension Academy worldwide. He's helped thousands of people experience the higher dimensions of themselves, reaching wisdom, healing, purpose, and deeper lessons about this life and other lives. Yum. Really great. I had a question for you. What was it? Well, I may remember it. Oh, well, start out telling us about your quantum healing methods.
Okay, so it really is um, a combination of all the tools that I found most efficient in my no very long kind of career of doing this work. What has been the most profoundly shifting and effective tools to help people on many levels, and mostly in two main areas, which is I call it the mastering the human self, so self-mastery. So dealing with your deep emotions, trauma, anxiety, we do very similar work, so you know that well. So doing that, and I found those things that help the most. And second module is more again spiritual awakening, connecting with your guides, past lives, connecting with other beings, and really opening your consciousness to everything that you truly are on all aspects of your being. So that's really connecting with yourself on the deepest level, and it is infinite. And this is why my name of the academy is Infinite Ascension, because ascension is not a destination you reach. It's a
Yes.
continuous journey that we do throughout this lifetime and all other lifetimes. So,
Yes.
and I also teach another part of it, which is the galactic aspects, which is again how to really help others connect with galactic beings and connect with your own deeper aspects of yourself that are parts of and have lived in other civilizations across the universes. And so I do this work. I teach that. It's a 12-week program. It's pretty intense, and people. What's special about it is we do it online, so I have people from all over the world, but we do it. We do practice live practice sessions. So not just theoretical, and you're watching my boring videos, or even if it's not boring, uh, but it's really about practicing and like okay, it all seems really exciting, but how do I do it? And here's the script. Here, let's do it. Here's all the instructions how to do it. Let's go for it. And we split into pairs and go for it and really do it. And people are like, oh my God, this is amazing how it works. So I love that. And so that's my basic course. And then I have an advanced course, which I'm doing one in January for those who have graduated from the regular practitioner thing. And that's another 10 weeks of more deeper tools and trainings to expand your own psychic abilities, your own abilities to work with people remotely and connect with them energetically and all that fun stuff. And additional kind of higher dimensional work that people know. They need to have the basic understanding in order to learn that.
Very nice. And hey, I want to ask you, there's a little fuzz with your mic.
Oh, okay.
Can you work on it for just a second or see if there's anything, not a fuzz, but kind of a little tingy tingy.
Okay, let's
that
hope
that's
this will work out.
self-explanatory. Okay, tell me, and I really like to start with this question too, so my audience can really relate to you. In terms of the Great Awakening, what started getting you there on a human level? What did you start noticing?
It's it is difficult to bridge when people suddenly awake and suddenly aware of a whole new level of dimension within themselves and their current life. There's a big gap of where they are and where they know they can be, and how to bridge this huge gap, which causes a lot of anger, frustration, and it entails again a lot of knowing that you need to deal with that shadow part, with all this pain and all this stuff, and people don't want to deal with it. They just want to have that spiritual escapism, and they just want to want to enjoy themselves and go and have those what I call kind of peak spiritual experiences, and having those, wow, I had this amazing experience, now everything can be like that all the time. No, you will, again, like the Buddhists like to say, you, after, you know, before enlightenment you go and do the dishes, after enlightenment you go and do the dishes, right? So
Yes.
uh, so you have to do that. You have to learn how to do it, and knowing that this process of spiritual awakening is from this moment which you awake for the rest of your life. And this is going to be the process, and it's not necessarily always pretty and not always great, and it's not going to always high riding on that high of like, ooh, spiritual elation. It's not about that. It's about embodying everything and bringing everything that you know and everything that you are in the expanded sense, and you learn more and more about yourself and embodying more, integrating it more into your being, into your life now, so you can complete this mission on earth in the best way you can.
So what did you start noticing? Like, was it a political thing that sparked you, or have you known that something on the, or I don't want, wasn't right for a while? How did it start to prick you? Oh, prick you.
Oh. Well, I've started my spiritual awakening 30 years ago in my early 20s, so it's been a while. And back then there wasn't much political stuff happening, so polarizing like it is now. So for me, it was more of a process of like really waking up and doing it in a slow pace. But
Okay,
now,
can I ask you a question?
yeah.
So I started doing my work in my late 20s, yet I didn't know more until only a couple of years ago. So did
Okay.
you start when you started in your 20s to open up to the reality of Earth? Does that make sense with that question?
Yes.
Okay.
So it is a process. So there's a few stages of awakening. There's,
Okay.
first of all, being getting awakened and starting to like, oh my God, I know more.
Mm.
And then it's a process, as you said, just be, and then being more, and then start like really embodying and really bringing more of that, and okay, how do I integrate it into my first of all, my world scheme that suddenly has exploded, and suddenly, wow, I see that the world is completely different and completely more in depth than I thought it was before. So I encourage people to, again, and I see that a lot of people who start like, oh, let me talk more about my clients. This is more and more relevant. When I see them working, and they first go through that first explosion of like, oh my God, I want to read every book that's out there for it. And back then there was barely any books, but now there's a lot of books, a lot of YouTube, a lot of stuff out there. Um, so they have like the goal that they have to quench that thirst and learn more and learn as much as they can, so they have, at least can build that world scheme of how things really are. And then it's the deeper process that each individual needs to go through, that personal transformation to mirror that and truly let go of the things that happened to them, and all the past, and letting go of the victim mentality and letting go of different things that come up. So that's that process. It's a long process, and people think, and it should take a long time, because it is also a part of, in each part of your life, in each segment of your life, a phase in your life, there's different lessons to learn. So it's not ever going to end. It's just going to be better and better. But the idea is like, I'll give examples. So a lot of people who start with that, they get angry. I mean, there was a meme I read lately. It's like, okay, I'm awake now. I'm now what? And it's so loaded because it shows so much that's happening right now. First of all, there's the lack of direction, because right now there's too much information out there. A lot of it is wrong. A lot of it is just showing shortcuts that are not real.
Mhm.
And so a lot of misinformation about the spiritual path and the process of awakening. And it's just really about like letting go of that and understanding, okay, I need to go and explore and see what's right for me and how I connect with things and how I get my own guidance on different topics and issues and things that are taking place.
Well, let me add onto that. So one of my friends introduced me to Delling Pod's podcast. It's pretty darn good. he just had one talking about people in the truther movement, the awakening movement,
Mm.
for example, like Russell Brand. And basically they said if they're oh wow, I'm gonna forget this if they're if you know their name, they're in the game. So to be very discern, I love that. And it's
Yes.
very, it just stays. So Info Wars, Alex Jones, Russell Brand, who else did they talk about? Oh, in New Zealand, the gentleman who put out all this information about deaths per the jib jab, saying that that was really false. So it is discernment on a level that is unbelievable. Like, who even spiritually who do we trust? Because I've also discussed, I've
Yeah.
had many people in the past that I've been connected to. So, like, are you aware of John of God?
Yes.
Okay, so I took my daughter to see him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's probably been 12 years ago. We sat in the same room with him. So he was a renowned healer from I want to say
Brazil.
Brazil, and was one of the most horrific crimes that were committed. Like, he would take young girls and impregnate them, sell the kids, and then kill them as well. So I was sitting in the room with him with my daughter. We did a 3 hour meditation, and there are some definite like he there was definitely some light or something that he had, because my daughter, who was special needs, sat there in stillness for 3 hours on my lap,
Mm.
and she was 10 years old. So just the funny thing with, like, I've mentioned before, like, I'm getting subscribers taking off YouTube. Like, I go to my YouTube channel and my numbers are going down and my views are going down. So anyone who is speaking the truth, who is the light, that's who they're trying to repress. So here we are, and we're just talking. And to your point, this stuff is it's challenging, and you're right, it never stops. Because I came up with something recently that I had to work through that was in regard to my parents, which I'm like, oh my gosh, I thought I finished all of that. And then a little nugget came up in this beautiful little package for me to look at and go, ah.
Yeah.
But the thing is too, like, if you get there, that's so boring. So what would be next if you get there?
That's
What's
right.
the fun
That's
in
right.
that?
That's right. Once you start being open to higher and higher dimensions, you realize, okay, it just it is this continuous growth, and it's never
Yes.
boring. It actually is never boring.
Yes.
If you see it, so here's a few points that are really, really important.
Let's hear it.
First of all, approaching, so to help with discernment of what's out there, which I find a lot of issue with. So number one is to reach everything and see everything through the prism of love and oneness. So it is what this person's saying is divisive and causing separateness and bringing emotions within me that are fear, anger, frustration, and hatred towards others. So if anything that person brings up brings those emotions for you, that is a false prophet, or this is really serving as a manipulation of you to reach those lower vibrations of anger, hate, and separateness. So I think that is the most important thing, to have anybody who you approach, any video, any book, anything that you hear. You wouldn't read a lot of books about that, because people who actually write books are a little more connected. But on YouTube, unfortunately, and all the social media, it's a free game. There's almost no censorships, and it's tough, because they say things, and they say it with great conviction because they know. But if what they know brings separateness and things like, okay, you are separate from those people, and those people, oh, they are doing this to you. You should be in indignation because they're causing this to you. They're doing this to you. They're taking things from you. That's bringing the lowest common emotions to the surface, and only bring, again, anger, hatred, separateness. And so if anything does that to you, take it off your watching list. It's not good for you, and it is actually serving, if you can say, that part that is bringing down humanity to lower vibrations.
Yes.
And if our goal is to ascend, we
Yes.
cannot spend time or energy on lower vibrations. It's contradictory.
I wanted to ask ask you, where are you from originally? You have a
I'm,
little bit
yeah, a
of
bit
an
of an accent.
accent.
I was born in Chile. I grew up in Israel, and I've been here about 30 years in the US.
Okay, Chile, Israel, and the
Hmm.
US.
Yeah.
Okay, can we go into Israel for just a second?
Okay.
What do you think about all that?
It's it's um it's difficult. It's difficult on many different levels. I think it's let's take a bigger prism view, geopolitical view of what this represents. Because what it shows again, and I'm talking to higher level beings when I try to discuss that, because again, it's hard for me because a lot of it is personal, and what comes up. But it's important to see, first of all, there's suffering. We know that, and there's suffering on both sides. And if any one of you is only prescribing to one side, you're already losing your humanity. It's very simple. If you're losing your
Ooh.
empathy and humanity and compassion to either side, you lost it. So let go of choosing sides. So who's right, who's wrong at this point? Because suffering is suffering, and both sides have suffered tremendously. So that is really important to know. And it is important to, so all the stuff I see of like, no, again, any side that is, again, and we only see the extreme, really. That's the problem these days. You only see the extreme, the most flamboyant and the most egregious acts out there online. So it's very hard to ignore it and be this, but make sure that you don't lose your humanity in this very polarizing things that is trying to cause you to be polarized. So that's number one. On the geopolitical part, we have to understand that we are in the midst of the second Cold War. And we are seeing that. It started with Ukraine, started even before the Ukraine, that power. There's a fight for power between the liberal democratic organizations that love democracy and freedom of individuals, which is mostly the West these days, and those that are not, more dictatorships and people who are oppressing the freedom of the individuals, such as, again, a clear example would be Putin and stuff like that. Um, so you have big powers like that ideas that are competing for people, and people now are in the process. And I talk to my guys and higher light councils. Okay, why is this happening? Why is it bringing up now? I thought we were done with all this um, authoritarian stuff, and that happened in the 1930s. No, the fascism. No, I thought we were done with it. Like, why is it coming up again? It's like what humanity needs to clear away that from themselves. There's still too much of humanity that still thinks that through power and coercion and force towards another, we can gain something. So we need to, as individuals, make that choice of what we do so we can have a clear, an actual conscious choice. What do I choose? Do I choose liberty and freedom for each individual on this earth? Or do I choose oppression and people need to do what I want? And that is a crucial separation between those ideas. And we, again, each and every one, each and every nation needs to make that choice. Clear, active choice, not just passive choice of like, oh, I'm living here, this is what I know. But actual active choice. I want to choose freedom from all, for all individuals in the society, and not oppression in the name of like safety and I want to control something to put down somebody else's light. So
So,
those are the,
do you have
go
family
ahead.
that still lives there?
Yes.
What's that like? And thank you for being very personal on this. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard. Like my aunt, who's 89 years old, um, lived literally 1 mile from the border of Gaza, and her community was raided, and all her neighbors killed. Her house was exploded, and luckily she was in a safe room. But they thought they, I guess, got her because they brought out and massacred all her neighbors and all that stuff. But they missed her just by pure luck.
Oh my gosh.
And she's been there almost a whole day by herself. And seeing all that stuff happening through the holes in the walls from the bombs. And after that, and she was rescued after that, like about 24 hours, but she still can't go back home. And so she's a refugee, you can say, within her home. She lives with her daughter now, but she can't go home. Home is nothing. And yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy. To seeing her, no, friends of whatever, 60 years being murdered in her lawn. It's not great. to say the least. And so it's been tough. It's not easy. And the other rest of the family, again, you don't hear that much, but no, you hear a lot of the Palestinian refugees, and there's a lot of them, and it's terrible suffering. But there's more than 200,000 displaced in Israel as well. You just don't hear much about it, but they are displaced as well. So there's a lot of suffering in both ends. There's no one thing that is of greater suffering. Each individual is going through it. So it's not easy. It's not easy to see that. And at first, I felt a lot of grief, a lot of sorrow. People I knew died, and it wasn't easy. But again, I have that. I try to hold a higher perspective on things and bringing that into being and into my own inner peace, and try to be at peace with it. But it wasn't easy at all. It was actually quite a challenging couple of months now.
And that's how how is the rest of your family in terms of evol evolving evolution? Because if you're being calm within this suffering, like I've been, I guess, pinpointed before, Eden, you should be more concerned or more tearful or more sorrowful, and like holding that place of peace and balance, especially when others can't or don't expect you to do that. How have you been within that, knowing that you're very connected to all of this?
Yeah, but you know what? I allowed myself to be in grief and sorrow and be in that space. And in and then again, part of spirituality is not to just be devoid of emotions.
Right.
It's just doing it more consciously. And I allow myself to be in grief and sorrow and be in the anguish and the frustration and anger I have about the government of how they handled everything, which is horrendous, the Israeli government. Um, Towards the Israelis. I'm not even talking about the war itself. It's stuff you don't hear in the regular news. So it's a lot of anger, a lot of frustration, a lot of things. So I allowed myself to be in that space for a little bit, and that's okay. That's okay to be and to experience your emotions and to process things and go through the emotions. That's important too.
Mhm. Did you do it by yourself or with others or a combination of both?
A combination of both. Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. But I want to go back to again the bigger aspects of what we're seeing in the world right now, and again
Yes.
the divisiveness that we
Yes.
see. And it's important to not be in the extremes and in the polarized extremes of either extreme left, extreme right, whatever you want to call it,
Mhm.
is to let go of that because that is too single-mindedly into one end that is eventually, as again, depriving the humanity of the other. Either side, it doesn't matter. So it's important to let go of this divisive idea because again, it's separateness. This is really like you're falling into that manipulation of like uh, letting us fight each other and bringing us to again lower vibrations instead of seeing the humanity in the other and bringing the deeper uh, knowing of what the other is. It's not no longer it's not about ethnicity, nationality. All that stuff is not important. Eventually, because we are so close to again moving into a more universal society as humanity, and we are moving towards that of like more and more global collaboration between things. An example would be like, for example, the EU, how countries that have warred with each other for centuries. Centuries. I mean, the wars, you can't even stop thinking of when Europe was not at war in history.
Right.
It's always have been. And since the greatest, most terrible war that they've experienced, World War II, have brought 75, almost 80 years of peace now. Um, and the EU, well, although it's not perfect, definitely not perfect, but it has brought a certain stability and a certain acknowledgement of each individual nationality, ethnicity, language, and respecting that, but yet still being a part of a larger group of people who care about each other and want to support each other. So that's an example of what we are going to become into a bigger scale. But right now, again, there's still elements. Instead, we saw that in Trump as well, and all that stuff that have brought that forward. The nationalism, the fascism, is that desire to divisiveness and separateness. So, like, I'm not the same like you not. You need to think like I do, and all that stuff. To move away from that.
I had a question for you. It just went out again and see if it's going to come back in. my gracious, where did it go? It was a good one too. Oh, oh, shucks. Okay, I'm gonna move on and maybe it'll come back.
Okay.
How how would you recommend to people? Well, okay, all right. So, this was it. That uh, even in the world wars, that there was funding from mutual sides. Like I discovered recently, you know how the U.S. Ford Motor Company funded the Germans. There's so much of stuff that we don't know. There's so much, and it's all about making money as well and greed. If you want to
Hmm.
pile that onto it, and knowing that Israel, there's funding of both sides. I mean, it's just it's all wacky doodle.
Hmm.
How do you recommend that people go through the grief, yet come out of it being as calm as possible? Okay, it's like for me too, knowing that there really is no death, it's just transitions, and knowing that we are not alone, that there's so much more to this human experience that we have. What do you recommend?
It is challenging in these days. We see every war online, and we see everything that's happening, and it feels like the world is falling apart. And in some way, it is. Um, it's not. That's not ignoring that. It's not falling apart in some areas, and the world is falling apart itself, the climate and all that kind of stuff. So it is not in a great shape, but it's also is important to focus within and realize I'm actually okay. I'm actually okay, and I can live through this. And again, this great again point of destruction and hatred and difficulties usually birth another process of peace. And from what I gathered, it'll take a little bit, but by 2026, we're going to have peace in that region. So this great cataclysm, this great catalyst of this horrible suffering is eventually going to bring something good in it, because people realize we cannot continue with this constant bantering, and this is overtly terrible for everyone. So we cannot continue with this path. Something else needs to happen. This status quo of continuous squabbling cannot continue. So I think eventually it brings good. So a lot of the grief and suffering, which is great and not to be ignored. And I think that's an important thing. Don't ignore your sadness, your grief, your anger. Not to ignore it, but know that it eventually, again, with you being an active participant in that, like I want to bring inner peace and bring peace to the world. And doing peace to the world is raising your vibration and being a warrior of light and being okay. I will hold the highest vibration I can in order for the whole humanity and all of Earth to bring the highest level it can. So there's going to be better solutions for these things, for all this endless conflict, because it's not the only conflict. There's so many conflicts. The one in Ukraine, there's one in Somalia. It's endless.
Yes.
So it's time to raise ourselves a level of consciousness beyond that. And it is how to do it is really knowing, and first of all, it's not the end of the world. And all those videos drive me crazy. Oh, it's the end of the world. Oh, everything's falling. Stop with the fear mongering. Don't fall into it, because once you fall into it, you are part of it already. Even if you are not doing anything, because you're reducing your vibration, your energy, your level of consciousness. So take a deep breath, relax, and know I'm actually okay, and I can be okay. And this will eventually, this tumultuous times will eventually end, and something better will come out of it, and we'll live through it. And again, I have a hard time with a lot of stuff again I see online. I had to be critical, but it is just again it is causing too much rift between people, and that's not good to see all this fear mongering in the world. Things will collapse, all the money will collapse, the world will collapse, the economies will. Why are you doing that? And from what I hear from my guidance and counsels that I tap into, is to that they're doing the change is coming. It is happening, but it is done now in a way that is not going to bring full collapse. Okay, it's not going to bring full collapse. There's going to be some disjointed things, and some things need to change. Some system needs to change. Things need to adapt, but it's not going to get to the point that this is complete calamity and everything will be catastrophic. It's not going to get to that end.
I would heartily agree with that, because also I feel as you increase your vibration and bring much more joy and peace into your life, that imagining complete chaos and destruction like that goes against what you're building
Exactly.
within yourself. So I'm seeing for me, um, oh, we're just heading along and it's just gonna keep getting better. Okay, there's some big bumps in the road. Okay, not to minimize anything,
Yeah,
yet if I hold, and it is being a warrior, just like you said, Harry, like this is hard stuff to keep balanced and to keep, especially when seeing all this stuff, and death and destruction going on, but knowing, like you said, we're all going to be okay. We're not all going to be okay. We are going to be awesome. And if we
that's
come
right.
together and really, oh, what are we creating? What's going to be happening? So again, it's such a, it's a challenging life to go through, but it is going to be great. And parts are, and I wanted to ask you this in terms of people and your own clients, are you seeing a waking up and evolution
Oh
within
yeah.
a larger number of people? Okay, yeah, tell me about that. Let's get excited for a moment.
So good thing is I have the sampling of decades. So I can tell you that, like, no, decades ago, like for me, like doing plastic regression was like people thought I have horns in my head. Um, just like, no,
Let's see.
25 years ago.
Yes.
So suddenly it's like, oh yeah, okay, that's great. It's not a big deal anymore. And so here's an example that I like to give. In order to get people experience past lives, again, 25, 30 years ago, it needed to have a lot of had people go really deep into their
Ooh.
it used to take like at least half an hour, 45 minutes to get them into a really deep space.
Okay, this is so interesting. Go ahead, please.
So these days, I can do it not only because I'm better, but because people are
Right.
better.
Whoa.
It's 15, 20 minutes because their level of consciousness is already higher. And people don't even realize that our whole level of consciousness is so much higher. And it's easier. And I'm like, you don't even have to be that deep these days. I'm like, people are like, oh, I need to be really like a somnambulistic level, and all like people start shooting things that they read about. You don't. I can have you connect with your higher self in 20 minutes. It doesn't really require that much more. And you don't have to be completely detached. For example, like before, people had to be
Yeah.
really detached from their ego and from their conscious mind, because it was such a discrepancy between what they were receiving and what they were experiencing in their regular life. So they had to be really detached. These days, you can be fully aware while having this experience and remember everything. So humanity's level of consciousness increased tremendously. And to have people connect with our guides, which I recommend, I think this is the most important thing to help people align and stay aligned with their mission, because it's very hard these days, very, so much distractions. I daily connect with my spirit guides. Wake up in the morning, I do my stretches, and I connect with my guides. And I do it through automatic writing. And I have an automatic writing little course in my Infinite Ascension Academy. It's beautiful because I do it daily to help myself refocus, recenter. Because it's so hard to stay centered these days. So I get, again, it's really internal guidance, inner guidance in that, but it's beautiful. So do that. Connect with yourself. Bring that level of centeredness in every day. And I use it just to even sometimes just to adjust my attitude, my approach to things. Like, oh, I feel this hard. Like, oh, don't worry me. And they give me example of how it is. So back to my clients, and so now having to connect with spirit guides used to be only those who are very spiritually inclined or psychic, already have open psychic abilities back 20 years ago, able to connect with their spirit guides or with any guides. And that
Hmm.
was unique. These days, everybody can do it. It's actually unusual to have those who are having a hard time with it.
Oh gosh, that's super.
Isn't that great?
So
It's amazing. So
yes.
people, so the level of openness is so much wider. And and another example that I like to give it, people are like, no, I see a lot of videos out there about like, oh, disclosure, and when is the disclosure going to happen? About no, when the aliens and having the government admit that they had aliens, and then just a few months ago, the government just admitted they have aliens, and Nobody winked a blink. Nobody even winked an eye, blinked an eye. Like it's just okay. That's it. So moving on, and that's it. And it's happened, and yeah, and moving on. So suddenly it's just not a big deal.
And I wonder
And
with that too, Harry. Tell me what you think about that. There's so
yeah,
much going on. Like, is this real? Is that like, oh, I hear this, but I'm not like I'm just passing through things. Like they can almost sneak it in with all this other garbage and stuff going on that a lot of people don't even recognize it. Or do you think some people did recognize it and went, okay, or kind of half and half? What would you say to that?
regarding that they said that we
Yes.
know of aliens or that there's unidentified. I think it was just done. And that's it. It was done a few years ago. If you say so, here's I'll give you the perspective of the beings that are on the spaceships that are that I connect with, and they say like, and it's like we will not do something like big and sit in front of the TV and speak to you in perfect English and say like, hello, we come to say hello to be at peace with you. Like they're not going to do it because first of all, at that point, humanity was not ready for like we too much in fear. We couldn't even
Yes.
agree with ourselves or be at peace with ourselves. So we were obviously not ready to receive something from outside of us. So, but the slow incremental dripping, you can say, of information, of experiences of people. So there's I can't remember his podcast now. It's really great. Next Soul Level. I think his name Noxel. A great podcast. He does a million people of who done like near death experiences, and I've done my
Yes.
master's thesis on near death experiences. Um, and it was interesting. So you have on his show at least like I don't know 20 people who describe their near-death experiences. Again, which in the past was hard to get, but there's more and more because technology is getting better and better. We resuscitate people better and better. So there's more and more that survive. And come back with stories. And again, people from all religious background, all cultural background. This is worldwide experiences.
Mhm.
So you can see that suddenly, like, no, there's this the other side is just beautiful and we're at peace and love and we connect with and we understand ourselves and bring with that deeper empowerment like no this is beautiful, this is good, life on earth is amazing and unique and all those beautiful messages. Yeah, and now it becomes a very accepted is something that again 20 years ago was completely unacceptable. It's things like oh they're just making it up or it's just
Right.
and again I've read a lot of research about it. People were like insisting oh it's just the brain, basically brain farts, brain electricity caused because of the death and lack of oxygen, all kinds of exclusions like that, like but it can't be that people from across the world are having from different cultural backgrounds, religious backgrounds, having a similar experience. That's something unusual because again it should not be. And it's not about just brain electricity because some of them again have different. Yeah, anyway, it's interesting. But so a lot of things that in the past have been considered uh, um, odd or very in the peripheral, like again aliens and all that kind of stuff, is just becoming like yeah, I'm sure there's aliens out there. And disclosure, it's again, it's just more and more people want. Oh, well, we want to see the files. You know what? If you really think about it, 1947, no, the Roswell crash. Was humanity really ready to receive the fact that there's other beings? Oh my God, we're like in the middle of the Cold War after the huge World War. People were like not in the right space for it, and they would only cause fear. And we know that. So like, no, that there's a good reason why the government has blocked it. And it's not because they're evil, but because it's like, well, we just can't do that. It'll cause havoc. Um, so it's also putting that and not again another thing that I have a hard time with is people is like putting the government or the cabal or whatever they want to call those secret things that are trying to control and manipulate. Control and manipulation has been around forever. Um, all governments have been trying to control and manipulate. It's not like again it's something new. Um, all the time. So it's not like something that suddenly like oh and suddenly you're have no feeling indignation about that. It's just unnecessary. Don't worry about that, and just allow yourself to okay, just let go of it. And okay, how do I again moving from the victim mentality? Because that's what the problem with that thing of they want to hurt you, they want to do to you. It's the victim mentality, which is again the lowest level of human consciousness level. People do this to me. They did that to me when I was a kid. They did this to me now. My parents did this to me. The government is doing this to me. It's the same mentality. And it's limiting yourself from being empowered. How can you be
Yes.
empowered if you're just like, oh, they did this to me? This to me. Enough. You're just a kid. You're a 5-year-old. Get over it. Mature and grab some, get more warrior energy. And I'm not talking about warrior, you're going to fight something. It's about having the courage to
Yes.
stick to your mission and our mission on Earth. And again, raising vibration and doing this stuff and doing things like, okay, I need to get overcome those inner things and inner conflicts and stick to, like, okay, I need to be well and better and have the courage to resist the temptations of that stuff that is only causing divisiveness.
Yes. I have one podcast guest. She's also a friend of mine. She she sings these songs of gratitude to the cabal, to Fauci, to Gates, whoever you want to put in that. And she's just, thank you so much for all being here, because otherwise we wouldn't be seeing what we're seeing. So she has this really lovely twist, I guess you would say, on all of that. Um, let's go, because I did watch that one video that you put out there about your physical body and
Mm-hmm.
getting it more prepared for what's coming. And it was like, I exercise a good bit, but it was so interesting watching that, Harry. I was like on the cusp of, one of my clients is a personal trainer, and in doing some trade with her, doing some of that again, like just being on the cusp of taking my own physicalness to the next level again. Like, I've done a lot of stuff, but now I'm kind of like, oh, I want to stay physically fit. Some of my classes are a little bit harder, but I'm not going to push it too much. Or yet, then watching your video, it was like, oh, I need to move into a little bit of that more. Tell about our physicalness, and in terms of this ascension, and really connecting and being good, and noticing that your body is strong. Okay, was that a good enough intro
Yeah.
to that?
So I think the video was why spiritual people need to exercise or have physical activity.
Yes.
And I want to preface it like it all depends on your age and your abilities and what you can or cannot do. And so it's all about first of all putting into perspective. Not everybody needs to be like a gym rat now and be all buff. That's not the point. Um, the point is, again, in the process of embodiment and integration of higher consciousness and higher vibration, uh, if the body is well and in optimized condition, it can hold higher vibration and more energy and more of this create. And it's known that people who exercise have a slightly larger, healthier aura because they are just there's more life force flowing through them. So again, doing it in a way that is not, again, I'm not talking about it needs to be like running marathons now. It's not the point. But finding those things, and it's also about bringing joy, because again, if for you exercising will be again working with a personal trainer or going hiking or by hiking a lot, or doing like a good 5 mile, doing like that kind of stuff. So doing something that exerts the body and builds muscle and builds energy and exchanges it. And we all know, and again, I get it so much from clients, their own guidance and my guidance, like, well, you need to move the body because body movement moves also all the toxicity, moves all and increases your healthy hormones like in the endorphins, that things that makes you happy, increases your mood. Who wants a better mood? I do. Like, no, go exercise, go do something that moves your body. Just sitting at the couch and watching TV is not going to do. It's fun to do also for a little bit. If you watch something that's exciting and interesting and enriches you, that's beautiful. Yeah, those people who say like, don't watch TV, that's bullshit. Yeah, watch shows that make you feel
That
good,
feeds you,
that
right?
feed you, that enrich you, that again, watching beautiful shows or things that really excite you, that's awesome. Or just bring you to entertainment. That's also good because it raises your vibration. That's all the goal. So don't listen to what you can or cannot do, but do things that really bring you up. But body movement and eating healthier. Like for example, right now in the holidays, I didn't do as well. A little too much. Sure, we're doing a lot of exchange with the neighbors, and like here's a little cake, and here's some cookies, and here's some more chocolate, and here's a little liquor, and they're like, oh God, it's like, okay, I'll have a little bit. So it's not great, but it's not about being perfect. It's not. It's about okay, but I know I did or a little overdid it, and I'm gonna I'll do a little cleanse when I come January, and let go of some sugar and things to clean my body, let go of the inflammation, and really knowing that as a spiritual being, your mood is important, your health of your body is important. Again, as we age, it's health is even more and more of a prized thing. Like, I have my health, thank God. When you're young, you don't think about it. Oh, I'm just healthy. Um, but even young people, I see that in young people. I have two kids in their 20s. It's you see that when they don't exercise, you see that they're just not as good as they can be. They're not in their the brain is not. Again, there was another research that came from Harvard, I think 3 years ago, that exercise actually builds neurons in your brains. You actually get smarter. And so it's like, wow, we didn't know that before. That actually it builds new neurons, new connections, new. Um, so that's fascinating, and that's amazing, and it's important. So we need to raise our vibration again through increasing the physical movement and doing and again doing the things that make your body happy. Like, our body is built to move and be active. If it's not, again, same thing as any other parts of ourselves, it's just going to just uh, become stagnant and static and just blocked energetically.
I like one thing that you said that I really like. I like the exert part. I feel like me personally, I need to exert a little bit more. You were talking about your knees being pained, and you were thinking about running, and then you were like, okay, if I just put some focus on there, that you did that, and then you were able to run. So these misconceptions that as we age, there are certain things we can't do. There are certain things and not that, oh my god, I used to lift 100 pounds, I'm going to do that again. It's not about being who I was in my 20s,
right.
yet also knowing that you you are on this earth and you do have this body, and if you treat it well and respect it, you can do some amazing things.
That's
Okay.
right.
Yeah. You want to say anything else to that?
And this is the problem with spiritual people, and I've had that issue myself for the first, like, I think, decade
Yeah.
of like not honoring the body. Like, oh, I'm a spiritual being. Oh, I'm just here. Just the body is just gonna by the way, but and treating it as less than. And I think it's important to know, like, no, we're here to be embodied, to bring that level of consciousness into the body and be part of it and be happy in the body, and not just, again, spiritual escapism and all that kind of stuff. That it's not about that. It's about doing it here and now. You incarnated into this earth to be in this place and bring all this energy into you now, into the body. So the body is your temple, and don't have the temple all filled with crap food and dirty and all that stuff. If you think about it, I have that. That's one of my visualizations with my clients, seeing they enter a temple, and if, like, no, it's about self-improvement. Their temple is full of no fast food wraps and all this junk food and all that. It's just not honored. And from this point on, I will honor my temple. I'll clean my temple. I will take care of it. And please do that. Take care of your temple.
Oh my gosh. I feel like we should move into the Just Be practice. How would you feel about doing something
Just
about
be
that? Do you have
practice.
any other
Sure.
ideas? I think that would be amazing. Okay,
Okay.
let's do it.
Okay. So just have people, if you listen to this, if you're doing something, take a moment, stop what you're doing, bring yourself to a comfortable space, a comfortable, relaxed space, and just enjoy. Take a moment, put things aside, and take a few moments to just listen to it, and take a moment to just let go of everything else, and let's do this. Let's take a deep breath together. Close your eyes, relax, and let go. Enjoy just releasing. Take another slower breath, and even slower exhale. Really feel you can just slow down the breathing process. And as you do so, you're sending a signal to the body saying that right here, right now, we're shifting gears. Shifting gears from the stimulation outside world and diving inwards into the universe within. Another breath in. And as you exhale, just let go of all distractions. Feel that mental fog is just blowing all this just random disjointed thoughts, just let go of them. Let them just fade away into the far distant background. And feel how you are allowing yourself to dive in to the universe within. And allow yourself now to imagine, open your beautiful imagination. Imagine that below your feet, there's a vortex of light. And this vortex is now going to be of service to you. And it's going to actually clear away, like the draining down of a bathtub, of turning down all the murky water and energy. And imagine it can start pulling away all that no longer serves you. And feel now how you are giving it permission to simply declare within yourself, I give myself permission to release all toxicity from me. Toxic emotions, toxic thoughts, toxicity within my body. I release it all and allow that beautiful vortex to just drain it away and clear it into the light. And allow this process to continuously happen as we do this today, as needed. And it only takes away that which is no longer of service to you. Those blocks, those energy blocks, those physical blocks, those mental blocks. Let it clear away so you can truly feel the flow. Now shift your focus of awareness up above your head, where a second vortex is opening now, which feels and looks like a beautiful halo of an angel, a beautiful ring of light. And allow it now. You can feel the hum, the vibrations that are about to flow to you. You can feel that divine essence, the purest of essence that is now, with your permission, flowing down and flowing inside of you like an internal shower of light that is cleansing, purifying, sifting through, and bringing this deep message of unconditional love, peace, and well-being into every cell within your body. Every atom within your realm is now receiving this. And you deserve it just by being you. You don't have to earn it in any way, shape, or form. It is yours. Allow it to flow, allow it to fill you, allow it to recharge your batteries, renew you in the deep way. Feel that flow, and it flows through you and all around you. So your entire energy field is now filled with that beautiful, this divine loving light that is just enriching you, enveloping you, empowering you. Feel that. Enjoy that. Immerse in it. Bathe in it. Absorb it. And allow yourself to feel that flow. And take a moment now and just being. There's nothing else you have to do, nowhere else you have to go. Just being. Now, allow yourself to feel that you are opening yourself to your higher potential. And feel how you can now open your imagination and imagine you can be like a genie coming out of a bottle now. And you can take a deep breath and start expanding and becoming a larger version of yourself, like 10 feet tall. Feel yourself expanding. Feel that energy just taking more space. And with the next big breath, Allow yourself to become 15 feet tall, 20 feet tall. Grow as far and as wide as you need to feel comfortable. Feel that expansiveness. And allow yourself to know that at this level of the expanded self, you can feel your power, that ever-present strength, your eternal aspects. You can sense it, timeless, limitless, free of fear and anxiety and stress. This is your true, authentic self. And know that you can make decisions from this level. Align and connect with guidance from this space. So allow yourself to know now, what is in my highest good that I can integrate into my daily practice to raise my vibration, increase my strength and power, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. Allow it to come to you. Feel it. Bring it forth. And imagine yourself that you are sitting inside a beautiful temple, just the way you like it. And allow this temple now to be at its finest. It hasn't been perfect till now, but now you are reclaiming your temple, your body, your sacredness. Restoring wellness throughout, on each level, every aspect. Deep well-being. Feel it. Integrate it into your being. Truly see it. Feel it. And allow it to become your reality. And you can come back here to this beautiful temple whenever you please and continue the work. This is your launching pad to the deeper exploration of self and continuous refinement of your being. It is so. It is done. Take a deep breath. Allow it to integrate and flow to your daily life. Another deep breath. Feel that power and bring it with you, that clarity, that expansiveness. And with your next big breath, you will bring yourself back here and now, feeling grounded, centered, and open to your fuller potential. Deep breath. And wide awake, wide awake.
Wow, There we go. My temple's awesome. Harry, thank you so much
My
for
pleasure.
that. And it's really interesting in doing, well, not every time, but a lot of the Just Be practice are meditation based, and then there are exercises. Yet you do need your body, regardless of what you're doing, even to think these things. And even though you're not in your body at times, you have to use your body to get there, your mind and your heart. Isn't that an interesting parallel? That you can't escape it, even though spiritual people really desire, and that we have to be here during this chaos, and it's going to be birthing some beautiful times. I will put one website here, but I'll have all your websites listed. Is your personal website a good one for me to disclose?
Yeah,
Okay,
definitely.
awesome. Thank you so much for bringing your heart to everybody and your clarity and your message. You spiritual warrior, you. Keep up the good work and know
Thank
that
you.
I support you. Everybody's supporting you. And I think, do you have any final words for us? Are we done?
No, we're done. We're good.
Okay, we are good. All right, everybody. See y'all, hear y'all next week. Bye, Harry. Thank you. If you can hang on just a
Thank
second.
you. Thank you.
Mhm. You are here. Awesome. Connect with me via Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Truth Social, and you might be watching this on YouTube, BitChute, Rumble, or listening to it on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, any of the 19 audio directories. Please connect, comment, subscribe, like. Yum!